The Predator Hunter. A newbie walked into the prison looking like fresh meat. Hoping to assert some dominance, an inmate named William Roberts engaged with him. But it was the newcomer who shockingly began to boast about his own heinous actions. The newbie proudly bragged that he was in prison for having his way with a 4-year-old, arrogantly claiming he could get away with whatever he wanted. The newbie had no idea he was actually speaking to Robert Maudsley, a serial killer who famously and exclusively targets predators. Maudsley calmly listened to the boasting before delivering a terrifying response. He detailed how he had strangled a predator until his face turned blue like a pair of jeans, ended another in a mental hospital, and had just hidden a fresh body under his bed 2 hours prior. He made it clear that history was immediately repeating itself. In the blink of an eye, Maudsley grabbed a spoon from the food tray and jammed it directly into the newbie's face. He ruthlessly beat and carved away at the predator, stabbing him over and over again while the rest of the mess hall remained completely oblivious to the horrific chaos. The newbie screamed and pleaded for mercy, but Maudsley didn't stop until the man finally perished. Afterward, Maudsley calmly walked to a guard and announced that 2 prisoners would be missing from roll call. When guards rushed to the cell, they discovered the hidden victim alongside the unrecognizable body of the newbie, whose brains had been carved out with the spoon still sticking from his skull. Maudsley denied cannibalizing him, but was locked away in a glass box for life. A grim reminder to always take precautions because you never know when you might bump into a psychopath. The barbecue spear justice. The summer of 1985 in Los Angeles was defined by pure, suffocating fear. A thin, satanic intruder was slipping through windows, ending lives and carving evil imagery into his victims while they slept. The media dubbed him the Night Stalker. He had 15 lives on his conscience and was the top priority for law enforcement. On August 31st, 1985, he casually strolled into a convenience store to grab a drink, only to see his own face on a rack of wanted posters right next to the beverage. Panicked, he bolted, desperate for a car to steal. He chose the vehicle of a 28-year-old woman named Angelina and began punching her in the stomach. But he made the classic villain error. He didn't check the neighborhood. A 50-year-old neighbor intervened, called his bluff on having a gun, and ripped him out of the car. He had picked the absolute worst neighborhood for a carjacking, as now he found himself surrounded by an angry mob. The crowd didn't just want him arrested, they wanted vengeance. A mob formed instantly, beating him with steel rods, makeshift spears made from barbecue equipment, and anything they could find. They beat him so severely that when the police finally arrived, the Night Stalker was sobbing and begging them to arrest him just to escape the neighborhood's wrath. He was later heard speaking Spanish to himself, saying, "Thank goodness the police came and arrested me. I'm so lucky." He received 19 death sentences, but died of cancer in 2013. Honestly, if I were the cop that day, I probably would have just driven in circles to let the victims have a little more time with the man who terrorized them for a year. The Dojo Trap. In 1993, at a club in California, a demon prowled the venue. The Grim Sleeper, a man who had already ended the lives of 10 women, was hunting for his next victim. Amidst the music, drinks, and laughter, he spotted an African-American girl who appeared annoyed and upset. Seeing an opportunity, he approached her, playing the role of the gentleman to figure out what was wrong. She explained she had been invited out to play dominoes, but everyone kept pressuring her to drink and club when that wasn't her style. It was late, she was exhausted, and she just wanted to go home. The Grim Sleeper pointed to his car outside, offering to take her. Delighted, she followed him to his vehicle. She got in, he shut the door like a perfect gentleman, and they drove off. When she eventually told him to make a right turn toward her house, he ignored her completely. Confused, she repeated herself, but he remained silent and distant. She went to open the door and realized the terrifying truth. The inner handle was missing. She was trapped. The monster finally revealed his sick intentions, but he had made a fatal miscalculation. He had trapped himself with Freddie Gibbs, a woman who would be named the most dangerous in the world 1 year later after winning the 1994 kickboxing championship. Growing up, she was ruthlessly bullied, but her uncle, a martial arts master, forced her to fight him for the dojo keys every single day until she earned her black belt. She knew how to fight. When the criminal demanded she comply with his demands, she flatly refused. Enraged, the psychopath swung at her, but she blocked it and landed a devastating counterpunch. He dragged her into the trunk, which proved to be his biggest mistake. Inside, she unleashed absolute hell, grabbing his shirt and smashing his head against the vehicle's interior. She flipped his shirt over his head, delivered a flurry of punches, and when she noticed his pants were falling down, she stomped on his chest and yanked his royal jewels so hard he shrieked like a banshee. Before escaping, while still holding him down, she delivered a brutal line. "When I say no, it means no," before landing a right hook that nearly knocked him out. She tossed the keys and vanished. Years later, the Grim Sleeper was caught in 2010 because of a pizza crust left at a crime scene.